بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وعلى من تبع هداه إلى يوم يلقاه. ما بعد, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we pass salutation upon His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And for tonight, we're going to be continuing from what we left it last month. And just to date the class tonight is the 21st of Jumada al-Ula, 1446, the 22nd of November, 2024. And we are on the chapter number 33, and that is Mulatafatul Yatim, to be kind to the person who is orphan. Mulatafatul Yamin, and also being kind wal banat to the girls, and also wasa'ir al-du'afa, and the ones who are weak, to be kind to them, wal masakin, and the people who are poor, wal munkasirin, the ones who are weak in terms of depression, in terms of maybe possession, wal ihsanu ilayhim, to be kind to them, وَالشَّفَقَةُ عَلَيْهِمْ, and also to sympathize with them, and also وَالتَّوَاضُعُ مَعَهُمْ, and to be humble with them, وَخَفْضِ الْجَنَاحِ لَهُمْ, and also to lower the wings for them. All of that is the chapter title of Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah. He puts it there in order to say that this is what I understand from those ahadith. As we have said, this is a selection, so we're going to choose. First of all, we'll start with the ayah. And the ayah we're going to start with is the third one, because the first and the second has been explained before. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Here, Allah Azza wa Jal is reminding His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that you were orphaned and Allah looked after you. So, because of that, you yourself and those followers of yours, you should not be people who are no good to the orphan, maybe that is not to put them down and not to fulfill the request, because remember, you yourself, you were weak and orphaned. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ, and the person is asking you because of poverty, also remember to be kind to him, to lenient. If you haven't got anything, don't say to him, for example, go away, but be nice. Then he says, قال تعالى أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين, Surah أرأيت, or they call it Surah Al-Ma'un. So this Surah أرأيت, Allah Azza wa Jalla says at the end, فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. The ones who belie the day of resurrection, he also have the character of being unkind to the orphan, and he does not also prompt to or encourage people, or he himself does not help the poor by giving them the food which is needed. Now coming to the first hadith that we're going to be discussing tonight, hadith 260. Remember, I'm not going to read all the hadith, but something that inshallah we will gain benefit altogether. The hadith reads as follows. كنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في ستة نفر. This is hadith Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, companion who the Prophet ﷺ had given him black card in the paradise. So it's from the 10 al-Mubashara bil Jannah. Sa'd ibn Waqqas, the first person who threw in Islam, in the Arab. Sa'd ibn Waqqas, who from the 6th, Umar al-Khattab, he chosen to be the Khalifa from them. Sa'd ibn Waqqas, radiallahu anhu ardah, he is known to be as well the person who had protected the Prophet ﷺ in the Battle of Uhud. We're going to talk about Sa'd ibn Waqqas a lot. Just enough to say that Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he made a supplication to Allah to fulfill the supplication of Sa'd. So whenever Sa'd, he calls upon Allah, Allah is to fulfill his supplication. And it was true and proven. So Sa'd ibn Waqqas, he said, we were with the Prophet ﷺ and 6 people. Now Sa'd ibn Waqqas, radiallahu anhu, he's one of the first predecessors in Islam. He says even he was Thuluthul Islam, meaning Abu Bakr embraced Islam and Khadija, and the third Sa'd ibn Waqqas. For the first day, 6 days or 5 days, he was the third. Radiallahu anhu wa Sa'd ibn Waqqas. Sa'd, he says, that we were with 6 people with the Prophet of Allah. Along with them, of course, Abu Bakr, he says, not Abu Bakr, Bilal radiallahu anhu, Ammar and Yasir radiallahu anhu. The kuffar, the elite ones, they said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Utrud haula, kick these are people, they are doing nothing, they are weak, they are poor, slaves. Bilal was a slave, kick them out. لا يجترئون عليه. They don't want just to start talking above our voices. How dare they? How can they have the audacity to talk while we are here, the elite people? And he says that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was with me, and from a man from Hudayl, Bilal, and 2 men, وَرَجُلَانِ لَسْتُ أُسَمِّيهِمَا. 2 men, I can't name them. Scholars, they said for a reason. It could be because these 2 people, they were from those who should not be kicked out. They're high in the elite, but the Quraysh, they don't want them because they embrace Islam. Or it could be there is a benefit not to name them because there will be a fear of maybe something upon them if they're going to be named. So he said, there are 2 men, but I'm not going to call them, I'm going to name them. قال فوقع في نفس رسول الله ما شاء الله أن يقع فحدث نفسه. Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us what happened inside the Prophet. Now, how did Sa'd knew about this? Because of the ayah which was revealed. The ayah was revealed, that is to say that the Prophet had a harmash, ijtihad.
White here.
We have to stop here because of some cars blocking.
White
you have said,
here.
brothers over here, mashallah, you want to sit for the class, make sure that you don't block anybody.
White
I mean, Mike, I was blocking, I just gave the key to somebody. Please, the person took the key, please tell me later on what is my class being blocked.
You can continue, Jazakallah khair. You can continue.
Quite. Barakallah. So he says here, the Prophet had happened, something had happened to himself. That he thought about it. What he thought? He thought to fulfill the request of people of Quraysh. What is the reason? Because the Prophet ﷺ, he's making ijtihad here. Maybe if I kick this, the ones who are already in Islam, not kick them, I mean expel them to go and start making da'wah to those who are elite. And if they embrace Islam, lots of Quraysh will embrace Islam because of them. So if you're the head of the tribe, the one who is the Sayyid, the master, like Abu Sufyan, if he embraces Islam, lots of people embrace Islam with him. Abu Jahl, may Allah curse him. If he embraces Islam, a lot of people. So the Prophet of Allah made ijtihad. He improvised. He thought that this is better. Can I just ask the brothers as well to get closer? It's a bit cold. The more you get closer to each other, the more warmer. You're not sitting, people that sit on the line where they pray. That's not really, we're not praying here for you. We are now in a talk. So sit as close as possible to gain the benefit of the Sunnah. This is the barakah. I'm not saying that to you because I'm commanding you. No, this is the Sunnah of the Prophet. In a normal majlis, sitting, like for example, let's say in the house, or you are sitting for looking at each other, no problem to sit on the corners. No problem. When it comes to knowledge, you have to sit like, there's a space there, you can't leave it. Prophet of Allah, even not just only the masajid, in the desert. He saw the companions, there are groups and groups. He said, إِنَّ تَفَرُّقَكُمْ هَذَا مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. You're scattering like this from the act of shaitan. After this, the companions should get so close to each other, even the desert. For the sake of the knowledge, if even a small piece of rock will accommodate for all. Companions of Allah, they will listen to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And ikhwani, we have learned, the outside has an impact on the inside. When you are together, hearts are united. When you are scattered the hearts as well. That's why the Prophet will not start the prayer until the feet with the feet, shoulder to the shoulder, no gaps, because that would result into an impact onto the heart. Jazakallahu khairan. So here the Prophet had this hunch, maybe if I just take this group of one, Quraysh is asking the ones who are low, like the ones who are low in terms of profession, money, their slave, or for example, it's not money, shepherd. Allah was a shepherd. Because of that hunch, Allah says the following verse. وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ. Don't expel, kick out those who call the Lord morning and evening. They seek His pleasure. So those are the ones you're hoping for their Islam. They are nothing considered to those who are embrace Islam. And the person should not be looked at with sheer reverence because it's rich. Unfortunately, this is what happens in our countries, in our Islamic societies. A person who is not got money, people will deal with him nicely and everything. Okay, normal. But if he knew that he had mashallah and became rich, okay, somehow the dealing with him start to change, isn't it? You start, looking at him with a more sheer reverence, more respect, and that should not be the case. It is true. When the person gets the money, subhanAllah, it's like, even if he's ignorant, he becomes the most learned. Even the most idiot, he becomes the best person. He's an idiot, and unlearned, and nothing but the money makes him something. Allahu Musta'an. That should not be the case. So in the sight of Allah, those who are nothing are better than those who are elite. Those are the elite because of Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows what's inside their heart. Most of them don't want to come here to listen. They just want to not to sit down. How can I sit down with this slave? No, he's down and I'm up. Okay? So that's why Allah Azza wa Jal, He blamed the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet of Allah, he has ijtihad. And in ijtihad means that he wants to deduce a verdict. He wants to arrive to a conclusion. And if his conclusion was wrong, the revelation comes to correct. And here the Prophet ﷺ, what he had in his mind, to go and expel those ones who are seeking the pleasure of Allah, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, that decision of yours is wrong. Right, so those we could see, the ones who are always down, with the profession down, and poor, are the followers of the prophets. In all prophets' history, the first people will follow the prophets are the one who's got no dunya. Poor people, not high status in the in the society, those are the ones who follow the prophets. Also, Islam is not designated to a specific, category or class. Islam is only for the elite, because you know that some of the religions, Hinduism, for example, Hinduism has got tabaqat, ranks. The Mihraja is different from the one who's poor. This is their religion, the classification. In Islam, there is no classification. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most noble in the sight of Allah is the one who's the most pious. So you could be just a Muslim from birth for a long, long time. And this person, he reverted to Islam, but he strived in the deen, and he learned, and he became half always better than you. Even you are Muslim from the beginning, he just embraced Islam in the last few months or years. And the person should be always aware. He should not be a person who would upset a person who is from the righteous. Here the Prophet of Allah, with his hunch inside himself, his thoughts, he was almost going to harm the righteous by explaining from not sitting with the Prophet of Allah, gaining from him. That hinge, or that hunch, that thing, that thought, Allah is telling him no. Because it upsets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you should be careful as well. If somebody is righteous, a person, don't upset him. Right. So Islam is a universal. It's not for specific category of people, or category of class, or category of race. Right. Coming now to the most important point in this hadith, and that is al-ghayah la tubarrir al-wasilah. What does that mean? Your goal does not justify the means. Goal justify the means. This is a Machiavellian theory, which is not a Muslim Muhammad theory. This is a Robin Hood. You know Robin Hood? What's the history of Robin Hood? Robin Hood, he wants to feed the poor people. What did he does? He goes and robs the rich people. So robbing the rich people to feed the poor people in Islam is not accepted. Just like you want to feed the poor people, that's a good goal, good target. You have to have a good way of doing it. I want to have a righteous leader to lead me. It's not going to make a coup. It does not work like that. And kill people and cause, or make a revolution. Just for the sake of what? Putting that person down. That way of yours is not legalized. Just like the target has to be legalized from the point of Sharia, also your way to achieve this target has to be legalized from the point of Sharia. Very important. How did we gain this point? Prophet of Allah ﷺ is targeted to spread Islam. And he thought if the elite people embrace Islam, then most of the people who follow them, they are under them, they will come to Islam. And that's a good thinking, a good target. But in order to arrive to that target, you have to have the good means, not by expelling those who are righteous people and giving them just these people a special place. So whenever they come, those people who are poor, they have to go. That's not correct. So goals does not justify the means. Remember that as a principle. Al-ghaya la tubarrir al-wasila. Coming now to hadith 261. 261, the hadith says, verily, Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu, this is Abu Hubayra A'id ibn Muhammad al-Muzani, and he's from the people of Bay'at al-Ridwan. Bay'at al-Ridwan, under the tree and the truce of al-Hudaybiyah. He said, Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu, this is before he embraced Islam. He came onto Salman and Suhaib and Bilal. Right. He passed by Salman first. He passed by Suhaib al-Rum. He passed by Bilal ibn Abi Rabah. And there are other people as well. He mentioned these three names because those names, they are well known. Plus, one of them, he has been tortured by Abu Sufyan. That's Bilal. And Abu Sufyan, it looks like he was passing by because it was in the truce of al-Hudaybiyah. After the truce of al-Hudaybiyah, actually, it was after. And here, all of them, they don't like Abu Sufyan. Why? Because he was an enemy of Allah. He was striving against the Muslims. He was a person who was to fight the Muslims. Whenever there is a person who wants to embrace Islam, he will be blocking them. So they said the following words. ما أخذت سيوف الله من عدو الله أخذها. The swords of Allah did not take the proper punishment from the person who is the enemy of Allah. They're saying like, that our swords, the swords of Allah Azza wa Jal, did not do what they're supposed to do regarding a person who's the enemy of Allah. That we should be killed. You are really killed. That means they are humiliating him with some words. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, أتقولون هذا لشيخ قريش وسيدهم. Are you saying this to Abu Sufyan? Abu Sufyan is about to embrace Islam, by the way. Are you saying this to Abu Sufyan, who is considered to be the Sheikh of Quraysh, the master, like the king of Quraysh, and he's their master? After he said that to them in a way, in a tone, maybe to rebuke them, to reprimand them, he went to the Prophet and he told him what happened. After Abu Bakr told the Prophet, after he told the Prophet of Allah what he had done, the Prophet he said, Ya Abu Bakr, لعلك أغضبتهم. Maybe Abu Bakr made them upset, not pleased with what you said to them. He said, you do this to Abu Sufyan, the master of Allah. You upset Salman. You upset Salman, and you upset Bilal, and also Salman and Bilal and Suhaib. You may upset these companions and the ones who are with them. لَإِن كُنْتَ أَغْضَبْتَهُمْ لَقَدْ أَغْضَبْتَ رَبَّكَ. If you have upsetted them, you have upsetted your Lord. If you made them angry from you, you have made Allah angry from you. Then he went straight away to those companions and he said, Ya ikhwata, أغضبتكم. Oh brothers, did I make you angry? قالوا لا. He said, يغفر الله لك وخير. May Allah forgive you, dear brother. What do we learn from this hadith? Number of issues. First of all, that it is, I would say, recommended, or it is allowed that the person who is upon the Islam to demolish the morale and the strength of those kuffar. Here, those companions, they say this to a kafir who is well known an enemy of Allah. It's not a kafir, just a normal person. No, it's a person who's to fight. So now you are saying words to what we call in Arabic, that you're demolishing, you are making him humiliated. They said the souls of Allah will not take the right punishment from you, the enemy of Allah. Put him down. So it's like he's saying, you kafir, you are a person who had, done this to us. You deserve to be punished for that. So that's why the sayings of Salman, Suhaib, and Bilal to Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu. Secondly, that it is permissible also to object on a person who's done something wrong regarding the people. So if you think that somebody had done something wrong, Abu Bakr, he thought he done something wrong, he objected. Prophet of Allah, he believed that Abu Bakr done something wrong, he told him. Also, Prophet of Allah told us that to be always close to the people who are righteous, to be kind to them. So, and also, those companions, they forgiven Abu Bakr. So when Abu Bakr, he said to them, did I make you angry? They said, no. So they have taken his words on the best of opinions. They did not take his word as personal. They took him as maybe they want to advise him. So they have forgiven for him straight away. Did not sink it in and then they took some sort of actions towards Abu Bakr. So we learn from this as well, the love of the Sahaba is, or the Saaliheen, is actually pleasing Allah Azza wa Jal, and vice versa. If you harm the Saaliheen, the righteous people, then you are making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala angry. Sahaba were keen to make sure that they are not going to be making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala angry. Coming to Hadith 262. Sahl ibn Sa'd radiallahu anhu, companion, said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أنا وكافر اليتيم في الجنة كهكذا وأشار بالسبابة والوسطى. This is the sababa and that's the wusta. So he said, I am with the orphan, the one who's looking after the orphan, like this in Jannah. Okay, like this in Jannah. Between the index and the middle finger, there is no space. So you and the Prophet of Allah, you are looking at an orphan like this. Okay? And in terms of lengthwise, there's not much difference between the index and the middle finger. In another hadith, he said, the Prophet is 263, he adds another element, which is that not just the yatim of yours, the orphan that belongs to you, an orphan which is, let's say he is the son of your brother. No, even somebody who is not related to you. If you are a person looking at an orphan who's somewhere in another country, if you don't know about him, look, you're going to be like this with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أَنَا وَكَافِرُ الْيَتِيمِ كَهَاتَيْنِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. It shows us as well the immaculate reward of the person who will have when he is looking after the orphan. And he will be accompanying the prophets, the righteous, the martyrs, and all of those who are Allah Azza wa Jalla praised. Coming to 166. We're going to jump 264 and 265. 266, the following hadith is as follows. Verily, we find that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, شر الطعام. This hadith from Abu Hurairah. شر الطعام طعام الوليمة. The worst of the food is the food of the walima. Any walima? No. يمنعها من يأتيها. يمنعها من يأتيها. ويدعى إليها من يأتاها. That the person who's supposed to come and he's most deserved to come, he will be prevented. وَيُدْعَى إِلَيْهَا, and the one who's called to it is the one who does not want to come. I will explain to you. وَمَنْ لَمْ يُجِبِ الدَّعْوَةِ, and who does not respond to the walima's invitation, فَقَدْ عَصَى اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ, he had disobeyed Allah and His Messenger. In another narration, he says, بِئْسَ الطَّعَامُ طَعَامُ الْوَلِيمَةِ يُدْعَى إِلَيْهَا الْأَغْنِيَاءُ وَيُتْرَكُ الْفُقَرَاءُ. This is the explanation now. What are this food of this walima, this particular food of this walima? Which one? That the rich people are to be called and invited for it, and the ones who are poor, they're not invited. Look at this. So the first hadith will say is the one who refuses to come are the one invited. Who are these? The rich. And the ones who they will come straight away because they are poor, they're not invited. This is the worst ta'am of the walima. Ikhwani, the walima, a wedding. If somebody or brother had invited you for a walima, you must fulfill the call, unless you have a very good legitimate excuse. So when the Prophet ﷺ, he said, from the rights of a believer, upon the believer, that if you've been invited, is to fulfill that invitation. This is specifically for the wedding. If any other invitation is not as incumbent, compulsory like the wedding. Because the wedding people, they invite you, they want you to come. If this invitation involves something haram, that they will be singing, there will be something which is free mixing, or disaster mixing, whatever you want to call it. If there is some things that would displease Allah, don't go. Do not go. And that's what the companion would do. Like Ubadah ibn Samit, radiallahu anhu, he did not go to that wedding. When Abdullah ibn Umar is invited, because he saw things that is displeasing Allah. And he said, what is happening? My mother said, well, غلبنا النساء. We've been defeated by the women. The women, they are really, nagging now, they couldn't do anything against it. We've been defeated by the women. He said, no, I'm not going to accept this. So if you've seen something displeasing Allah, even if it's the wedding of your son or your daughter, don't go to it. Because there is haram there and you will be sharing in the haram. We learn from this also that it is not correct to invite only the elite. When you have a wedding, invite even the poor, including the rich as well. So invite the ones who are poor, invite the rich, because the poor are in need of that invitation. Especially the food of the walima is always nice food. I don't like what is happening these days when they are limiting the people who come to the food because of the caterers. They will say how many people they invite, and then they will punch their calculator's number and they will tell you how much. And it's per head. And then there's somebody outside, he will calculate how many people coming in. Subhanallah.
They give cards.
The cards or anything like this, the card. So when somebody comes, have you got a card? Have you got a card? Where are you coming? If you look at our weddings, how it was. I mean in Somalia or Zanzibar or whatever. Our weddings. We have a tent. Everybody come. We'll say to them, there's no such thing as cards. These cards came to prevent the people who got no cards. And when you have a card, that means where is your money? It is. So, because you give him called in Arabic nugud. Nugud means like something that you give, but the gift is actually the loan. So let's say that you have come to a person who's invited you, and you give your share. Okay? Now, when your son, or you want to marry yourself, another wife, you give a card to that person who you've given money to. And you wait for him to come. If he doesn't come, oh, God help him. You will be after him and chasing him out. Where's my money? This is like this. You're not coming to help the brother. You're coming, just actually to prove that this is the money. And some people, when they give the money, there's an announcer. Oh, Jazawallahu khairan, he paid £50. Oh, this is the gypsies, they do that in our country. Oh, £100 being given by such and such. So they start boasting each one another for the sake of what? Show off. Riyad. That's not the wedding. The wedding is to help everybody. Prophet ﷺ, when he made the walima for Zaynab, he just put the bisat, the rug, and everybody came with their food themselves and help. Okay? So I like these days to give the da'wah to remind the people by text, WhatsApp messages. Some people, they spend a lot of money in printing cards in such and such country. It costs a lot of money. How much each, maybe some of the cards cost about £5 for a card. Just go, like a booklet, you open it. That is a wedding. And it can be a memory. It's going to be every person comes in, you see, I've seen my wedding, look at that. People are bored of this. Go with the pictures and all of that. So it's one night. If for one night you're going to spend about 50,000, and you're going to remember that money's been spent for nothing. 50,000 instead of saying, the wedding's supposed to be between the rich, 1,000, 2,000. That's it. Nice hall, the nice people come. Allah Akbar. If the brothers do not help, the sister will not help as well. Because they want to show off. Right. 267. Prophet ﷺ now is telling us about looking after girls. Your daughters. من عاد جاريتين حتى تبلغا جاء يوم القيامة أنا وكهاتين وهو كهاتين. That if a person had looked after two daughters, girls, he will come on the day of resurrection, me and him, like this. And he had as well made his fingers stuck to each other. So here, that is a person who's looking after the girls until they are married, until they are independent. So it shows you the importance of looking after your girls. Why is just specifying the girls? Because naturally the people that look after the boys more than they look after the girls. They give more preference to the boys than the girls. That's why Prophet Allah emphasized the girls. I've got a story for you, which is a true one. Mentioned by Shaykh Abdul Razzaq, Hafidhahullah. He says that he knows a person that this person, he was giving birth of girls. First girl, second girl, third girl, fourth pregnancy, he's getting now angry from his wife. That's not, it's the fault. Another girl, fifth one, he says, oh, come on, stop it. Fifth pregnancy, another girl. He said to her, I'm going to be punished. I'm going to do something. You have to, give me the boy. Sixth pregnancy, he's got a girl. Seventh one, he's threatening her with a divorce. He's got 6 girls now. Seventh one, pregnancy. I'm going to divorce her because he's 7 girls. Now, before she delivers the baby, he sees a dream. In that dream, subhanAllah, and the man he is telling about the story what happened, in that dream, he's been taken to hell by the angels. And hell got 7 gates. So whenever they go to a gate, there is one daughter there. She says, no, don't throw me, my father. So they take him to the second. There's another daughter. Third one, another daughter. Fifth, sixth. Seventh, there's no daughter. So they throw him in the fire, he wakes up. I want a girl. I want a girl, I don't want a boy. Now, he is after a girl. And he's being given a girl. Subhanallah. Because the girl, they prevent their fathers, their mothers to be thrown to the fire. كُنَّ لَهُ حِجَابًا مِنَ النَّارِ. They will be like hadr, like a prevention. No way you're going to throw my parents into the hellfire. If you look after the girl, because looking after the girl is much more harder than looking after the boys. Because she needs a special environment, special attention, and also she looked on a hijab. The boy doesn't have to put so many things that would be different from the society, whereas the girl, she does. And she cannot mix up with this and mix up with that. So it's very hard to look after the girl. So when you do that, Allah will reward you. One girl, Jannah. How about 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6? Now we come into another hadith, which is hadith 268. Hadith 268 with the authority of Aisha, she said, a woman, she came on to me and she had 2 daughters. And she was asking, and she got no food. So she did not find anything with me except for one date. One date. So I gave it to her. And she divided it into 2 halves and she gave it to her 2 girls. So this woman, she's got 2 daughters with her. And she's asking for money. Asking for money. Actually, she looked, she's got only one day. She gave the day to her. She divided that day between the first daughter and the second daughter. So Prophet ﷺ entered upon Aisha and she told him what happened. He said, he who has been given the girls to look after, this is like a trial, something that is like an agonization, girls to look after, and he's been kind to them, they will be for him a protection from hell. Another hadith, another incident, another woman, she came and she had 2 daughters with her. And Aisha, she found 3 dates for her. It's not 1 date, but 3 dates. So she gave, this mother, gave each one of her daughters a date. The 2 daughters that have eaten their dates, now they're looking at their mother. Okay, Aisha, she gave 3 dates. The mother, she took 1. The 2 daughters, she gave them each one. The daughters, they took the dates and eaten. And then after that, they looked at the dates in the hand of their mother. So the mother, she divided that date and gave it to each daughter. So Aisha, she told the Prophet about this. So the Prophet of Allah, he said, Allah Azza wa Jal, because of this, he had made Jannah hers. Jannah's hers. Another hadith, the Prophet, he said, are you amazed from the mercy of this mother to their daughters? For verily, Allah is merciful than her. If you are amazed how merciful this mother, that she did not want to eat even that day, which doesn't make it for her, she gave it in 2 halves to her daughters. She's merciful, but Allah is more merciful than her to us. Ikhwani, we learn a lot from this hadith. Number 1, we learn that the person, if he is a poor person and asks somebody for some money, and that person said, brother, I don't have except for £1 or £2 or £5, accept it and accept and believe it. Some poor people go, no shame. Like the one I met. The sister, she's outside. And we said to her not to stay in front of the masjid during Ramadan. Because these people, we know them, they're not really correct. But anyway, so I said to her, sister, take, and I gave her £10. I said, £10, please. I just can't allow, we're not allowed to stand up here. You know what she said to me? Only £10? What are you going to do with the £10? Take it. You could know that these people, they don't deserve it. These people, the government have given them the money. But their lives, the system, subhanAllah, is being abused by our people, by Muslims. So they lie just for the dough, all of this. They lie. They lie a lot just in order to get money who not deserve that. That woman, Allah, I can't even accept the £10. She took it later on. But the thing is, she's in £10 only. Here, Aisha, she gave 1 day. The woman, she never said to Aisha, oh, you 1 day. And you are the wife of the Prophet of Allah. You are the wife of the President. Number 2, look how poor the Prophet said. He's the head of the state. When the Prophet died, Aisha was looking at the shelves. It's just a bit of things there, a bit of things there. Nothing. Umar al-Khattab, when he entered the house of the Prophet, he was looking. I can't find nothing to please his eyes. Nothing. One day he saw the Prophet of Allah sleeping on a bed. She's got wires. That mattress, when he woke up, the wires had made a mark in his body. The top part is his skin showing. He saw marks. He started crying. This is the Prophet ﷺ, the head of the state. That's how he is. That's why he made this supplication to the Prophet ﷺ, for the one who looks after his family after his death, because he was sad that he's a prophet. He's not allowed to bequeath his people. The prophet is not allowed to leave inheritance like you do. Whatever he leaves is sadaqah. That's the condition for a prophet. So no Aisha, no Salama, no wife of Habiba or Urdu can inherit any penny from the Prophet. So whatever is in the house, not from the food, is theirs. But land or gold or money, no, except for that food which is left in their kitchen. And the food in the kitchen is what? Nothing. 3 months. Compared the wives of the Prophet of Allah, they don't even cook. There's no smoke. They are onto water and dates. Nothing there. A guest comes to the Prophet of Allah, goes to his wife, do you have anything? No. Nothing. Those wives of the Prophet of Allah, they knew already that they're going to inherit anything. And yet, they chose to be the wife of the Prophet. They knew they're going to be in an agonizing life. Life which is difficult. And see how the women these days, when you got approached for marriage, you will say, have you got anything to inherit? You got a house? Yes or no? Yeah. They will interrogate you. I want to secure my future. I want to know. Have anything? Land? And then I'll get married. Other than that, don't think about it. Look at these wives of the Prophet. Nothing. Radiallahu anhu. And yet somebody comes into these words and he says, why are the Prophet of Allah? Our mothers. Also, in this hadith tells us as well that Aisha, she was generous. Here we find Abdullah ibn Zubayr talks about his mother, Asma, who is the sister of whom? Aisha. Aisha is his maternal aunt. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he said that both my mother and my auntie, Aisha and Asma, they're generous. But their generosity differs. How? Aisha radiallahu anha, what she does, she likes to collect and then she gives. She doesn't want to give that little thing, she wants to collect. Whereas Asma, whatever she comes to her, she gives. Both generous in different ways. One, he's trying to give something little. He wants to collect more than to give. Another one, as soon as he comes something, he gives. Both of them. It shows another thing as well, benefit. That the women are allowed to give charity from the husband's money as long as it is reasonable. Here, the Prophet's house got 1 date. And she has a general permission. She didn't wait for the Prophet to take permission for the date to be given to that woman. So she gave. But you see, if it is something considerable, Like your wife now, a person who comes to her and he wants something, so she'll take the fridge down. And then the husband comes, where's the fridge? I give it to a poor person. You're going to be upset. You're going to make trouble. How can you give the fridge? Well, you know, she needs the fridge, and you have to seek my permission before you give the fridge. But it's simple, give him a sandwich, give him give him £10, 15, something that the husband accepts. But not like that. So general permission, and if it's a specific permission, yes, alhamdulillah. Like with this one, alhamdulillah, we have talked about 216, 269. We come now to the hadith of but it's chapter 34. Chapter 34, we go to, and that is the chapter titled, Al-Wasiyatu bin-Nisa, to be good to the woman. The men doesn't like that chapter, do they? You have to like it. You have to understand that the woman, you have to look after them. Right, Prophet ﷺ, he had given us lots of recommendations and instructions regarding the women, in terms of being kind, in terms of being aware that they are weak and they are in need for a person to look after them, protect them. So, coming to the ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, وَبَاشِرُهُنَّ وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, that means be kind when you are interacting with them, in terms of word-wise, in terms of looking at them, in terms of talking to them, socializing with them. Okay? Just like what you like to happen to you, make sure that it happens to them as well. Also, Allah, He said, وَلَمْ تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَنْ تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ. If you are to be marrying more than a woman, you will never be just between them regardless. So Allah Azza wa Jal is saying that naturally you cannot be just in everything. What He's saying is, وَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ. But don't go so much to one of the wives. So there is somehow going to be difference. You have more than one wife, that one maybe you like her more than the other. More intimacy with the other. Allah did not impose upon you if you have, for example, two intimacies, two intercourse with this, you have two intercourse with that one. No. He had made you to go divide your time, one night for her, one night for her, or 2 nights for her, 2 nights for her, and so on and so forth. Your heart, you have no control of it, but you have to be just in the way that you bring in the food, you bring in the clothes. Because you have to be just as well between these wives. So, فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ. And one of the things that we need to know, all the neighbors are actually have more than one wife, and you will not enjoy the justice between them, you're going to come with your head tilted like this. All the people in hell, in paradise, they will know that you have more than one wife, and you are not just. Because you've got a sign. You're tilted to one side with your head. So, Allah Azza wa Jal is saying to us, you have to be kind to the women, and if you have more than one woman, you have to be just. 273. Hadith 273, Abu Hurairah writes, Prophet says, استوصوا بالنساء خيرا. Be good to them, be kind to them, look after them. فإن المرأة خلقت من ضلع. The woman, she was created from a bone, the chest bone. وإن أعوج ما في الضلع أعلاه. And the most crooked, curved one is the one which is on the top. And it's actually, she was created, but we're going to see the left side. From the top, and the top, you know, when you have a look at the bones of the chest, the smallest one is at the top. And the smallest, because it's got curved, is the most curved from all of them. Okay, from the top. So, Hawa, she was created from there. Our mother. قال فإن ذهبت تقيمه كسرته. If you want to go and make this bone straight, then you're going to break it. وإن تركته, and if you left it, لم يزل أعوج, it will stay crooked. فاستوصوا بالنساء خيرا. Then make sure that you are kind to the woman. Quoting this hadith also says in another narration, قال يعني if you left it crooked, you will be استمتعت بها وفيها عوج. You will be enjoying yourself, entertaining yourself with her, as long as and you have to know that she's crooked. Also, the Prophet said, لن تستقيم لك على طريقة. She was born from, or created from this crooked bone. She will never be, on a path that you want her to be. Do you understand that? So you tell her to do this, yeah, she'll do it for 5-6 days, and after that she will do something else. You got your plans, and she got her own plans, by the way. Plan 1, plan 2, she got plan 3, plan 4. You tell her this is Allah has said to us. So if you're going to be enjoying yourself, you're going to enjoy yourself with her, she is crooked. If you want to straighten that, then you're going to break her. Break her means here, talaquha, you're going to divorce her. Okay, let me give you an example so you can understand. Man is made like this, straight. Woman is made like this, bend. That's the man. Now, they want to lift each other. Can you see that? Straight and bend. So, Prophet he said, if you gonna make her straight, break it, I mean you're gonna divorce her. You're not gonna straight. You're gonna divorce her. So, I want to live with her. How can I live with her? I'm gonna bend with her. Do you understand that? I have to. Otherwise, we're gonna be like this. She's like that, and I'm like this. So for me to enjoy myself, I have to bend. That's the only way to do it. You bend with her, and be patient. And that's how the women are. So we understand from this that, first of all, that the women are created to be in that sort of mentality. You cannot change her. I'll give you a simple, difference. Like a tabloid, the newspaper that you find, for example, being pushed through your letterbox. As a man, you don't even pay attention to it. Or if you look at the tabloid here, head titles first, and then you throw it. The wife doesn't do like this. She goes and searches them in detail, yes? And then she finds things there that you don't find. So it's not for you as a man to say, come on, fool, woman, you're wasting your time, look at this. And she's not for her to say, you fool man, you just don't really look at the bargains. She might tell you things there that you never, look, there's £5 here. The Morrisons are selling, by the way, what's it called? The chocolate for £2. My wife told me about this, I never knew this. Because they look at these things. For me, I don't know. These little things, you don't have time as a man, because the man is looking for something more. The whole picture. But she looks about these little things. So Allah has made us like this. So wow, to compete one another. That's how we compete one another. As I said, you have to pay. Otherwise you can't live. Also in this hadith we say that the mar'ah is that she is moody. She can jump from one move to another without you knowing. Somehow, in the morning she's okay. Oh, nothing will happen. You don't know what happened. So be patient. Because you're going to go back to the inshallah. This is like this. Prophet said, مَا رَأَيْتُ أَذْهَبْ لِلُبِّ رَجُلٍ عَاقِلٍ مِنَ الْمَرَىٰ. I haven't seen more of a person that would drive a prudent, sensible man crazy than a woman. A man who is mashallah. He's calm and everything. Then you find him shouting his head off because maybe his wife, she drove him mad. So you have to be akhi, knowing the fact these are how they behave. If you understand that, Prophet ﷺ, he was the best for his wives. He was most patient, most tolerant. They got together, they wanted to do something decent. The Prophet of Allah ﷺ, he punished them, but at the same time he was the most tolerant to the companions. We're going to see now what happened regarding when Umar al-Khattab asked for them to be beaten up. We'll see that in a minute, inshallah. Right. Very important to understand that some people make it that it's impossible that they were created from a rib. No, they created from a rib. And that's the hadith. And that's the interpretation of Allah ibn Abbas. They created from a rib. Don't be shy to understand this hadith. Okay. Now we have hadith 200. As I said, I'm going to do everything. 275. Hadith 275. It says as follows. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu writes, لا يفرق مؤمن. A believer should not hate a female believer. And vice versa. إن كره منها خلقا رضي منها.
If he likes one, so he dislikes one manner, he will like another one. So don't look at the bad side all the time. Here it is, the wordings is towards the believer male, towards the female. But it is more of a part is from the female to the male. Because the Prophet said that the female, they are the most inhabitants of hell because yakfurna al-ashir. They deny the favors of their husband. Their husband keep giving them good. Does one mistake, that's it, he's finished. All the favors he's done has been forgotten. She only filed black files. That's her memory. So the Prophet is telling her, if you hated something from your husband, if you hated something from your wife, look at the manner which you don't like, which you like, which you please. Don't make things to pile up, and then after that you're going to ask for divorce. You're going to ask to divorce her because you have kept looking at the negative side. So if you have seen the good side of it, you will forget. Kwani, this is important for us. Islam teaching us to be patient, teaching us not to love to extreme and not to hate to extreme. You might love to extreme and then somebody, that person will turn to an enemy. And if you hate to extreme, that one day that this person will be turned to a lover. But this is what Umar Khattabi told us as well. If you are to love a person, then verily do not love him to the extreme. Also, what the Prophet ﷺ said, أحبب حبيبك يوما ما عسى أن يكون مريضك يوما ما. 277, jumping 276, the Prophet ﷺ had said, or it's Muawiyah, he said, Messenger of Allah, ما حق زوجة أحدنا? What is the right of a wife over one of us? He said, أن تطعمها إذا طعمت. If you eat, make it eat. That means the type of food that you eat, the type of food that you give. It's not you specify yourself with the kebab and you give her the dal, the lentil, without meat. No, she eats kebab with meat, just like you. Also, when you are clothing her, the same. So your class A clothes, class A for her as well. وَلَا تَضْرِبِ الْوَجْهِ. Do not hit the face. The face is not allowed. That means you're allowed to hit other than the face, as long as it's not going to be breaking balls. We're going to see. وَلَا تُقَبِّحْ. Don't say that you ugly woman. This is the most insulting word you could tell you. لا تقبح. وَلَا تَحْجُرْ إِلَّا فِي الْبَيْتِ. And if you want to make hajar, detach yourself from her marital relationship, then it's in the house. Can I do it outside the house? Well, the Prophet had done it for specific reasons. He done it in a mashallah, away from the house of his wives. So in this hadith, you're not allowed to go and defend your wife because she's got ugly things in her face. You married her. How can you call her ugly? Why did you marry her? Now look at your ears, it's big, look at your eyes, so small, look at your head, it's big, look at... How would you do that? How can you say that to your wife? She's your mother of your kids. Also, it is that the person should know the rights of his wife in order to fulfill them. And also, if you want to have a dispute with your wife, and you've done your advice, and now you want to detach yourself, don't make it a newspaper and tell everybody I'm away from my wife. Detach in the house. In the house. Even if there's children in the house, in the bed. Don't sleep outside where the children can see you sleeping away from their mother. It's not good. Not good impact on the wife. So the wife's right upon you is to clothe her, to feed her, from what you clothe yourself, from what you feed yourself. Now we're coming to Hadith 279. 279, I'm going to finish this chapter inshallah, and then we leave the following chapter for later on, questions and answers. Hadith 279 says as follows. Iyas ibn Abdullah ibn Abi Jubair radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet said, لا تضربوا إماء. Do not hit the women. Imam Allah, women. Umar Khattabi said, Messenger of Allah, فَإِرْنَ النِّسَاءُ عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِنْ. Women, they became like, a boss, or a tiger, or a wolf against their husband, because they're not allowed to hit them. So the Prophet of Allah gave concession for beating them, disciplining them. So because of that, so many women, they came to the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, complaining that their husbands are beating them. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, verily, too many women had come last night to the family of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the family of myself, and they are complaining about their husband beating them up. For many those husbands are no good. They're not the good of yours. They're not good. So in this hadith tells us, number one, that person should be not disciplining their women by beating them up. That's supposed to be a person who disciplines not with the advice. Yes, beating is allowed, as we're going to see. The beating has to fulfill the fourth condition. Number one, it cannot leave a mark. So it's not breaking bones. I had an uncle. He's been, exposed to me, and he comes and track that he was on top of his wife. She's an old woman as well, and he's playing like kung fu or wrestling. I couldn't believe it. That he, uncle, you are on top of that. And his wife is an old woman. I couldn't believe it. Second, you should never strike the face. Third, you should never say you have got big ears, big nose, big head, ugly face. I'll not do that. Number three, or number four, it should be all of this after advice. And after as well, you advise them, then after that, you detach them. It didn't work. Then after that, you use that discipline. And this discipline is for teaching. It's not for harming. It's not for humiliating. So when you hit your wife like this on her shoulder, like that, this will affect her, because if you say to her, I have admonished you, I have advised you, I have even detached myself from the bed, but yet after all of this, you're not understanding. So I'm going down to another level to wake you up. So it's not to leave a mark on her head or to break bones. It's not allowed. That's not allowed in Islam. Or spanking on the backside. This is not allowed as well, even for children. Spanking on the backside, where the injection goes. It's not allowed. It's not from Islam. But this is to show that the women, have run out of ways of teaching, and have resorted to this. And that would make a very big impact on the wife. So do not hit the face. Do not, as well, say ugly. Do not spit in the face. Hold it. Hitting and spitting in the face is really bad. Don't. And do not, as I said, play kung fu like the uncle played on top of his wife. SubhanAllah. I couldn't believe an old man would do such a thing. A man who is the master of his house, he should be training his wife slowly, how she should be behaving. And he should be doing that with hikmah, maw'izah hasan. Good advice, reason with them in the best of ways. It is allowed for a person to go to somebody who's in charge to make a complaint. And this is how the wives of the Prophet the wives of the companions came to the wives of the Prophet to complain about their husband that are beating them up. And the Prophet he said that those who beat them up for no reason like that, they're not the best of you. And when the person he complains about another person, he's not backbiting because he needs help. And when you need help, you want to ask and expose somebody's act to another person who's got the power to punish, you're not actually backbiting. So when these wives came to talk about their husband beating them up, they're not backbiting their husband because they know that the Prophet he said something, he will settle the situation. And this hadith as well, a refutation for the Shia and the Rafid, when they said that the wives of the Prophet are not from the Ahlul Bayt. They are, because the Prophet said, Tafa bi Ahlul Bayt. Some people, the women came to Ahlul Bayt. Ahlul Bayt is the wives of the Prophet plus the blood relatives like Ali and Fatima and the sons of Hussein and Hassan. By this, coming to the last hadith, 280, and that is الدنيا متاع وخير متاعها المرأة الصالحة. Dunya is entertainment. Best entertainment in it is a righteous woman. Righteous woman is one of the four things that if you gain them, then it happens. أربعة من السعادة. Four from the happiness. المسكن الواسع. المسكن الواسع, what is that? Spacious house. قال والمركب الهني. Good motor, good ride, good mount. A mount that takes you from A to B, not from A to garage, from B to garage. This is a headache. Third one, Al-Jar al-Salih. Jar, the one with the neighbor. And a good neighbor from the happiness. Fourth one, al-mar'atu aw zawjatu salihah, a good wife. Those are before you got them, you are the king of your world. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made for this person who's a man the help, which is a good wife. She will help him to be patient if he is to be poor or in a bad situation. She will be there to help him if he's in facing depression. Same thing, she will find her husband to comfort her if she needs as well comforting. By this, alhamdulillah, we finished what we have planned to talk about. Now we come into your favorite section, and that is the questions. If you have any questions, please go ahead. And we will take the question priority, goes to the question linked to our chapters, which is being kind to the orphan and being kind to the people who are weak, and also for the people, for the girls, to look after them, and also the rights of the wife. If you have any questions about this, please put your finger up. If you haven't, then we'll go to general question. Anybody? Okay. So everybody, mashallah, is equipped with enough information regarding this matter. So if you have any questions regarding anything else,
yeah.
Electricity questions? Or plumbing?
So the question is regarding Salah. You know, Sheikh Riyad or something like that, he said you can't pray behind someone who does a bid'ah that leaves them out the fold of Islam. Now I went to a mosque in Nottingham and they had posters up of someone teaching a class, and the teacher has used it as to be allowed to do istighatha. And so now every time I go to a new mosque or something, do I have to ask the Imam, oh, are you upon the manhaj of Salafiyya or something? Like, what do I do?
Right, am I allowed to pray behind an Imam who does elevations? Without mentioning any shaykh, because if you mention the shaykh, then the person who answer the question will say, listen to the shaykh. That's it, that's the answer. Why should I give an answer? Shaykh Saaliheen was our shaykh. I don't know. Now, but maybe his words is general, needs to be more explained. There's, people, or when they have elevations are much more than one type. There's an elevation you take you outside the fold of Islam, and there are elevations that will not take you outside the fold of Islam, but you are misguided. So the person, when he comes to a masjid, he should choose the masjid of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the masjid of the Salafis. And if you want to avoid any type of masjid, you should avoid the masjid who are the ones, as soon as you enter the masjid, it says in the front, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad. So they're calling upon Allah, and definitely that masjid we're talking about, it says that word, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad. So if you have this masjid, why do you want to go pray in it? Unless you have no place to pray, then you pray in Rome. You don't pray behind the Imam. Now, if it happens that you have prayed behind an Imam of such a masjid, still I cannot treat him as he is believer in every single aqidah that this masjid represents. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I'll tell you. Some of these masajid, in the time of Ramadan, and I know that, because I know this masjid, they bring Egyptian reciters to lead them in Tarawih. Those Egyptian reciters, regardless of how big is their bid'ah, is not going to reach that bid'ah that you're talking about. So there are people that could really pray behind them. Now, it doesn't mean that every person who leads in that masjid carries the same aqidah of that masjid. But I'm not going to put my prayer at stake. I will pray in the people who have Sunnah. Salafi masjid, Sunni masjid, Hanafi masjid, even Dawani masjid. But priority goes to the Salafi masjid, not this masjid. But Dawani masjid, no problem. The prayers. But the one that got a problem, which we have in this country, is the Brayley masjid, which we say, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad. That's the one we're talking about. Then you can see that onto the Prophet. But you don't say every Brayley is a kafir, otherwise we're going to make it to feel upon our neighbors. Can't say that. Those people, they say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. But we make takfir in detail. We don't make takfir in wholesale. No wholesale takfir. No. Wholesale takfir. These kuffar, they can't say. They say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. But we say, he who believes in the aqidah of that Brayley is a kafir. Do you know that Imam does? No, you don't know. If you knew him after you prayed behind him that he believes in this kufr, this nihilation which takes him outside the fold of Islam, you have to repeat your prayer. But if you have prayed behind him already, you don't know, your prayer is valid, inshallah. Okay? Your prayer is valid. But do not repeat your prayer daily. Why should you? Pray on your own. Pray on your own. Or pray in another different masjid. Wallahu a'lam. That's what I would say to you, Khani. That we do not make takfir bil-kur, bil-kamshid, this takfir, Shia kuffar. That's not correct. But you say, the one who believes in the Shia beliefs, like for example, Aisha, she is not innocent from a fornication, is a kafir. Because it is disbelieves in the Quran. But not all of them believe that. Any person who says Quran is not the Quran, kafir. But is every Shia does not say that? No. So if you all Shia kuffar, they can't say. They say La ilaha illallah. Once they enter Islam, you can take them out of the side of Islam, it has to be 100%. He who believes in Shia Aqidah is a kafir. Rafid Aqidah is a kafir. But not every Rafidi believes in the Rafid Aqidah. The Aqidah is Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Whom we many from them, they many from us. They are the same? They're not the same. The people we call them Ahl Sunnah. They teach you things which are Aqidah Kufr. For example, from the Aqidah the Kufr, they say that Allah is everywhere. I'm not talking about Arabic. No. Sufism. No. Even they say Allah is everywhere. Not only is him with his knowledge. Everybody says that. It's no talking about his essence. They teach you that. They teach you, for example, Allah Azza wa Jal has the right. If I ask somebody, you know, it might be embarrassing. He might say, he believes in the Aqidah. If I ask one of you, other than I point to anyone, is Allah allowed to punish the pious and reward the criminal? Allah has the right. If I said Allah has the right to punish the righteous and has the right and the power to reward the criminal, is this statement wrong or right? You're not. So if you had your Aqidah like this and you said wrong, you don't know. That Aqidah is wrong. That Aqidah is actually attributing dhulm to Allah. Allah, He did not make Himself as a zalim. Inni haramtu dhulma ala nas. Make dhulm, oppression, injustice haram upon me. It is not allowed to say Allah has the right to punish the righteous and has the right to reward the kafir, the one who is a criminal. No. Even one of them done worse than that. He said, Allah has got the right to put Iblis in Jannah Maqam al-Mahmud and put Muhammad sallallahu in the Maqam al-Hellfire. And he thinks like he's Allah has given power to Allah. This is kufr. But this kufr is not coming from Shia, people from the Sunnah. People who teach Ahl Sunnah. Like the Ash'ari. You know the Ash'ari? That's what they say. They say that Allah has the right to punish the one who is a pious person and he's got the right to put the kafir in Jannah. Put the Muslim in hellfire and the kafir in Jannah. That's the right. Got the power. And that's Aqidah. It's been, as we say, they're not Shia, they're not Rafida. So these people who are following the Sunnah, they're not all the same. The same thing with the people who are from the Deviant sects. Don't make that fear in wholesale. طيب هذا ما شيء تفضل تبدا وش تفضل.
Medicine interviews to study medicine, they score points based on like eye contact with the person that you're interviewing with. So if it was a female that you're doing the interview with and they score based on your eye contact, what should you do? Are you allowed to look at it with the eye?
Right, any person who needs to look at a woman for the sake of other than lust, for the sake of that he needs to do that. Let's say, for example, you are treating a woman as a medical doctor, and you have to do it because it's a necessity. So you have to look where the pain is, and the pain is next to the private part. I can't just look like this. I can't do like that. I have to see it. I'm seeing it to treat it. So I can't do it. You're talking about now looking at the woman with her eyes, because she needs eye contact for you to not understand if you understand the question or not. As long as you're not doing it for loss. But this is for necessity as well. Because you want to pass to something which is better, yes? فاتقوا الله. Fear Allah as much as you can. Fear Allah as much as you can. Nah. Barakallah fiik. Problem.
So you know regarding taking care of
Taking care of orphans.
does that you know sometimes you have the option of sponsoring kids in another country? Does that apply?
Yes, it does apply if you have sent money to sponsor such and such person whom you don't know. That is considered to be looking after the orphan. Looking after the orphan is to provide him with the money. It's not just for looking after the orphan. You are a person who has to have him in your house and all this. Not you're providing him a shelter there, you're providing him his learning and all of that by sending money. You are calculating, yes. Any other questions? Before we leave,
I have a friend that converted to Islam a few months ago, and his family is Christian, and so he's just worrying about Ramadan. Like, what should he do during Ramadan?
So a person converted to Islam and he's worried when it comes to Ramadan, what should he do? Ramadan, alhamdulillah, is coming now closer to where it's going to be very easy, a few hours. Okay, so he goes to school, doesn't he? So you don't know what he's eating there, they don't have any spies upon him. He doesn't want to show to his family that he embraces Islam. Okay, when he comes, by the time he comes, it's almost Maghrib time. So it's just a whole bit more until. So he should really, as well, think about maybe giving secrets of his to the member of his family that he's relaxed with. That maybe his sister should help him, maybe his mom should help him. If there's nobody, otherwise he could keep his Islam to himself and do as much as he can. When it comes to the prayer, he locks himself into a room until he does the prayer. Okay, same thing with the fast. As I said, fasting these days is very easy because by the time he leaves school, he doesn't have to have food. Okay. Until he finishes school, I think during the Ramadan this year it's going to be around about 5-ish. Yeah, 5-ish to 6-ish, and that's very easy job. Nah, it's not difficult. But correct, any other questions? I can't see, you're too far to the far, that's it.
Yeah, I have 2 questions.
Can't problem.
First question.
Now, the first question, because my wife actually has is there any connection?
Yes.
Problem.
Yeah, the first question about if the child was born, maybe died.
The child was born inside the womb of his mother?
Yeah, but he already died.
Already died, so what's the question?
Yeah, is we allowed to do Aqiq?
Aqiqah? No, Aqiqah is for the child who's the correct opinion. Aqiqah, the child, we have the opinion, some scholars do not have proof for that. The Aqiqah is when the child lives to see the 7th day. If he died before the 7th day, it's not Aqiqah. That's the correct opinion. We do have, you go check nothing tell you, no, it's Aqiqah. But, the correct opinion, what our Shaykh al-University says, yes, to live to the 7th day, because the Aqiqah is on the 7th day. If he doesn't live on the 7th day, no Aqiqah, okay?
The second question is about those brothers believe the Quran is makhluk.
Brother believes the Quran is makhluk, created. This brother either he has no knowledge, ignorant, so we teach him, or this person, he is knowledgeable, but he's got this staff that they cannot tackle. So the easiest thing to say that you say the Quran, which is the words of Allah, is created. That means Allah creates His words. Is that what he's saying? That means Allah creates His words, and He creates Himself as well. Creates His essence. And as Imam Ahmad he said, oh, Quran is created, then Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't pray janazah on it, because if He created the thing, you're going to die. So the words of Allah are going to die. So it's simple. But as I said, maybe this person had met people from the Mu'tazila. This madhab had finished, ceased to exist. We don't have that. So unfortunately, I think he's an ignorant person. Bring it to the people who are knowledgeable. Inshallah, they will treat him. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. See you inshallah in one more time. Next week I will have it. Next week.
Look at your phone. It's my phone. Yes. What happened to your phone? I don't know how to see it. Sit like that.